For many years, the approach proposed by Michael Porter, which emphasizes external analysis, was the dominant theory in the field of strategy. This so-called positioning theory, which mainly advocates taking advantage of threats and opportunities in the environment to establish a comparative advantage over competitors, was challenged in the 1980s by the emergence of the resource-based approach. This resource-based approach to strategy, known as the resource-based view, was initiated by the economist Edith Penrose in 1959 and then spread from the mid-1980s onwards thanks to researchers such as Birger Wernefeld and Jay Barney. It has given rise to numerous debates and further developments at both the theoretical and organizational levels, such as in the case of dynamic capabilities theories, resource orchestration, or absorptive capacities. The central idea of this theory is to focus on internal diagnosis and on the resources available to the organization in order to differentiate itself and build its comparative advantage. To be effective, this strategy must go through different phases, which consist of identifying the resources at its disposal, being able to analyze them, and ultimately optimizing their use. When identifying an organization's resources, which can be of very diverse nature, we generally and mainly distinguish between material or tangible resources, such as the raw materials used to produce a product or the company's infrastructure, like offices or a factory, and immaterial or intangible resources, such as know-how or reputation, to give a few examples. Jay Barney proposed the VRIO model, VRIO, to analyze the resources at an organization's disposal. V stands for the value created by this resource, R for its rarity, I for its inimitability, and O for the organization's ability to mobilize it. This model notably makes it possible to distinguish between strategic resources, which provide the company with a comparative advantage and set it apart from competitors, ordinary resources, which are neutral in terms of performance, but are often the most numerous and are essential for the proper functioning of the organization. And finally, negative resources, which are the source of a comparative disadvantage and generally need to be disposed of or reorganized. The most important phase ultimately consists of optimizing the use of these identified and analyzed resources. This ability to make the most of the resources at one's disposal explains why two companies with the same resources can achieve very different results. So historically, the approaches proposed by Porter and Barney have often been seen as opposing each other. Today, this debate is outdated. It is now agreed that a sound strategic approach must, of course, draw inspiration from both the external approach and the resource-based approach in order to ultimately be relevant.